guys, you're watching The Morning Score, your top-of-day fix for professional and for college sports and for gaming. We are shooting at the Rivalry Sports Bar in Miracle Mile in the Wilshire District in Los Angeles, California. If you need a happy hour drink, if you want to watch the games, there are 25-plus televisions here. Come here, get a drink, bring your friends, bring your crew. This is the place to be. So today's episode, we're starting off with athletes versus the media. Kevin Durant has been on this tear lately. I think he just got like a wild hair up his butt, where he is ripping the media lately. He went from being Mr. Poster Child, nice guy of the NBA, to being this mean guy who's like, don't mess with me. You guys in the media have no idea what you're talking about. He even told GQ magazine recently that when he's on the court, he's a different person. I'm like, dude, really? So what do you guys think about not just Kevin Durant basically taking on the media? What do you think about athletes saying that the media doesn't know what they're talking about, that they don't deserve to have as much of a voice as they do? I'm kind of like, Kevin Durant, chill out.
I come from a journalism background, as many of us probably do, and you're taught that report on the news, report on the facts. But I find nowadays with social media, media is so thirsty to be the first ones to get the story out there that facts are not right. Deflategate, for example, like where did that go?
Actually, a fact about Deflategate came out yesterday.
Oh yeah, no,
did
that
it?
was
the intended.
But you know what I mean? Like it's just I'm kind of sticking on the side of the athlete. I think they're getting sick of defending themselves, and the media doesn't know what they're talking about sometimes.
I agree with you. I feel like reporters these days are now asking a lot of ridiculous questions.
Yes.
They're not asking about the game. So I tend to take the athlete's side with this as well. I mean, I understand. It's like if someone's famous, part of being famous and part of getting paid that amount of money and being marketable and all that is that the paparazzi's going to be taking your photo. Yeah, fine. But so I understand that part of the athlete's contract might be talking to the media, but I have to agree with Meghan in that what the media used to ask as opposed to what they're asking today has changed. Like 10 years ago, I don't know that they'd be like, so is your coach is terrible, or so this, or so, you know what I mean? And it wouldn't have, and again, with Marshawn Lynch and the way he's reacted to the media, I do think there needs to be some type of pass for players that don't want. I don't feel like it should be in every contract anymore. Or there should be, like the police, they have a person that talks to the media. Like there should be, not the coaches, there should be a person that is designated to each team, albeit for the New York Jets if you guys need one, to talk to the media and to address them and to keep that face of like, what's going on with Marshawn? What's going on with Durant? You know what I mean? And that person knows how to do it so the players can do what they're there for, play the game.
See, First, I just love that the Durantula finally has some bites because he needs a little attitude, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this whole thing with the media asking different questions, I definitely agree with that. But I also find these athletes on a day-to-day basis are so boring. I mean, this PC BS is just like, ugh. So I love when they're real, and so I enjoy that. But also, these reporters, I think they need to find ways to bring something out of these athletes, because on the same day it's like, you won, how do you feel?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, so they're fighting for their jobs as well, trying to get the story.
Well, but to that point, like reporters, like locker room reporters, and no offense, because everyone, like we each have our own niche in this industry. Like we are more the personality-driven force, and then sideline reporters are more just reporting, like regurgitating the facts or whatever. But my thing as a journalism major is that reporters, hosts have a responsibility to keep credibility at an all-time high. Yes. But at the same token, if it wasn't for us, if it wasn't for writers, if it wasn't for even bloggers or those crazy trolls on Twitter, a lot of athletes like Kevin Durant who play in smaller markets wouldn't have the visibility that they have. So it's almost like a very incestuous relationship where the players need the media because without us, they wouldn't be selling $125 sneakers. And without them, we wouldn't have stories to discuss. So I feel like as hosts, like we are the liaison between the fans and the players. Like we are like the fan voice, and we're the ones who are watching the games day in and day out. We're the ones studying analytics. We're the one recognizing the trends and like putting together what we think is going to happen based on all 5,500 games we've watched all season. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of saying I'm on the fence. Like I feel like you sign up for this, Kevin Durant. You sign up for this. This is kind of what you get. Comes to the territory.
Yeah, I was reading it.
Go ahead.
I was reading a quote real quick, and I think that this is what Kevin Durant is standing for, and because it really resonated with me. Quote, I just want to show kids out there that athletes, entertainers, so-called celebrities, we aren't robots. We go through emotions. We go through feelings. So I think that he's trying to make a statement. You know, this is him being rebellious. This is him being like, I'm not just a robot. I have emotions. I have feelings. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to get passionate about what I'm saying.
Yeah. And not only that, I feel like in that we're not robots, it's because there have been celebrities or so-called celebrities and athletes that have done such extreme things, and it's been played out and we've all heard about it, that now the media is like, what's going to be the next big thing?
Yeah.
Because that's always been the thing that, you know what I mean? Like, I totally agree with you, Erica, that without the media, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, you need the press to sell the tickets. You need to sell tickets to get the media. Like, it is this relationship. I just feel like it's become a disrespectful relationship, maybe on both sides a little bit.
And I definitely think it's both sides. And it goes to these big events. LeBron's decision, to me, was like the most ludicrous thing ever. I mean, it's like, get over yourself, bro. And it was so boring. But LeBron was like, I see an opportunity. I'm going to use the media. Why he got Jim Gray, I have no idea.
Yeah.
That guy's name is exactly how his personality is, Gray. It was so dull. And then you have Marshawn Lynch, who in my opinion, and I like Marshawn Lynch. I think that guy, he's actually a great guy. But him not talking to the media makes him more of a story.
It does.
Where if he just bored you with X's and O's and the same PC stuff that we're talking about, everybody would be like, all right, let's go find something else.
Yeah,
but he had control of the story. It was the story,
Yeah.
but it wasn't that someone picked up this and then was like, well, he's going to be fighting with his wife and this is going to happen to this and then we're going to play this out and he's not getting along with this one in the locker room. Like, there was none of that. There was just the story that he controlled.
Yeah, well, I agree and disagree, because when you don't say anything, now the media can kind of say whatever they want,
They
what
can.
they feel.
Yeah, they do. They
and
do.
they'll just
But they
come up
can't
with
back it up, is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I
that's
feel like
true.
the media sometimes, and again, I feel like it is a two-side relationship. Sometimes
It
the
is.
media does twist words. So if I think his point was to not give them any words to twist. I feel like that's what he was trying to do.
I also said that he said, he was like, I'm shy. I don't like the media. I don't like talking. It's like, really, Marshawn? Then stop grabbing your crotch, okay? Then we'll talk about it.
But that's different too. That goes back to on the court. He's in this like persona, you know?
I was going to say, too, that Kevin Durant also said in one of his rants earlier this week that he felt like the media has too much say when it comes to the NBA's top awards. For example, the sports writers and journalists, they select the NBA MVP. They select Most Improved. They select Rookie of the Year. They also select the Sixth Man, and they also select the All-Star Game MVP. And I do agree that with Kevin Durant in that, you know, the players, like, this is their fraternity. They deserve to have a vote in who gets these accolades every year. But again, like, these writers and these hosts and these journalists, we are the ones who are literally watching 24/7 worth of sports every day. So we never played professional basketball, no, but we offer a very different and a very fresh perspective that that an athlete can't offer, because you aren't studying like we're studying. Now, I'm not saying that I know as much as a Kevin Durant or as a LeBron, but I am saying that from a fan journalist perspective, that our opinions are valuable. And I don't think that people like Kevin Durant, or let's say Charles Barkley, who recently was like, oh, people who like analytics are just the people who didn't get the chicks in high school. You know, I love you, Charles Barkley. Don't come after me like you came after Gabrielle Union. I do love you. But you have to remember, we do have a very important voice, because we're all in the same game together. Literally, pun intended.
Well, but I feel like, on your note though, I feel like what Kevin Durant is trying to say is that, yes, maybe you do that, and maybe we all do that. We've all got our notes, we've all done our research, but I don't know that I would bet my life on it that every reporter, because we're here creating this show because we have the passion. Some other people are there because they're getting paid and they knew somebody to get a job and they're getting fed facts and they have a vote. So what I think would be a great thing is what they do kind of for actors. It's like you have the SAG Awards the Oscars, where only people, like, so they would have 2 awards basically. They'd have like the sports journalists, the critics vote, but then they should have like, you know, I forget which one it's called, but where all the athletes just vote. You know what I mean? It's like for actors, you have the People's Choice Awards, you have the Critics' Choice Awards.
Yeah, you do.
You have all these different awards where fans get to vote, where fellow actors, like, only if you're part of the union, you get to vote. And I feel like that would be, and it would be interesting too. It would bring a lot more, like, it would bring more to the game. It'd be interesting to watch.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad idea. Let's just not have another award show. Let's just let the players vote and then we'll find out the results. But God, I can't deal with any more award shows, especially during award
This
season.
is like award season,
It
so
is
we're like,
award
another red
season.
carpet. Oh, we can't go down Hollywood Boulevard because we're preparing
Yeah,
for
but
another red
sports
carpet.
award shows are so much different and better, kind of. Like the ESPYs are fun.
The
They
SBs
are. They're
fun.
totally
And
fun.
the, what,
Like-
the NFL honors, those were fun to watch as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
I feel like they do it right.
But I also have to say, like, I was listening to Mike and Mike on ESPN, and Mike Greenberg made a great point. He's like, I went to school, as you mentioned, for journalism. He's like, but now I'm not a journalist anymore. I am a guy who is spitting out my opinion.
yeah.
But I'm not. Journalists are the ones who are diving for stories, trying to make the news, uncovering this and that. So I do think those people, whether we like what they say or not, are inundated and know what's going on. I'm never going to say they know who the best players are per se, but a lot of that, you go to your stats, you go to the team chemistry. I think it would be fun to see who the players liked.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want them to vote necessarily on the MVP because I think it's cliquey, and it's also, they don't necessarily know, because they're not really paying attention to everybody else.
Not to every single game. You're right.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's like the coaches in college football, they have the coaches rankings, and they're the worst rankings ever. And these coaches know more about sports than any of us, but they're not really paying attention. They just know what they hear. They're paying attention to their team and their next
and their
opponent.
opponents. Yeah.
Right. So what do you think? Maybe the people, the fans should vote?
No,
No,
because we saw the All-Star game, and some guys that were voted in, it's like,
Yeah, I like Steph's idea that there should be an award ceremony or an awards for that the players vote on, and then one that the writers and the journalists vote on too. And it would be really neat to see the dynamic and the differences between the two.
Because you can have two guys that essentially are skilled the same, but if one's more media friendly than the other, this one's going to win. And I don't think that's what should decide who the MVP is.
So Kevin Durant is trying to make a name for himself as the new Mr. Bad Guy of the NBA. I'm not buying it, but I guess carry on, Kevin Durant, carry on. All right, stick around for our next segment where we talk about how it is getting hot in Cleveland. Up next on The Morning Score.